Alright, this is the Unit 4 review for Math 1. Number 1 is find the solution. So I could plug all these points in. That's going to be pretty time consuming if the answer is D. So I'm just going to solve this by substitution. So since they're both equal to y, okay, so that is the same thing as y. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in right there. So I'm going to say 2x plus 5 equals negative 3 minus 10. I'm going to go ahead and start to solve, get the variables on the same side. Okay. I'm going to subtract a 5 to both sides. Be careful with your negative signs. Okay. Divide by 5, and x equals negative 3. Okay. So now I could go solve, but this is one thing to having a multiple choice is that none of these x's are the same, so the answer's got to be C, because that's the only one that has an x of negative 3. Moving on to number 2, name the point where f of x is equal to g of x. So this is line f of x, this is line g of x, and they're equal where they intersect right there at B. Okay. Name the y-intercept for f of x. So make sure you're looking at the right line, okay, because here's g and here's f. So we want the y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? And it is at point D. Name the x-intercept for g of x. So that's right here. And it crosses the x-axis at point C. Name the pointer points of f of x where f of x is less than g of x. So where f is smaller. Okay? So you got to look at this from the perspective of the same kind of x values, like vertically. So if you look here, right here, A is bigger than D, or D is less than A. Okay, so where's F? So here's F. So F is smaller when everything is to the left of basically where they cross. So I would say D and E would work. Okay, D and E. Given the coordinate plane, write an inequality. So we got to kind of do this in reverse. We graphed a bunch of these, but now they give us the graph. We want to write the inequality. Okay? So I'm going to write these as y equals mx plus b, or in this case, like that, because they're actually not equal. But so the thing I like to start with is the y-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's my y-intercept. So the b is 4. Now I got to pick a couple of points to find the slope, and it looks like right there, the way they have it set up is probably the best too. So the slope is 1, 2, 3, okay, down 3, to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So my inequality is going to be like, now I just need to figure out the actual inequality sign. So in this case, it's a dotted line, okay, or a dashed line, so there is no equal sign underneath, and we shaded above it, so that's where the y's are bigger. Okay. So let's continue the same thing over here. Start with the y-intercept. Looks like positive 2. 2 points for the slope. They already got the points for me. So I'll create my right triangle, and it's 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up as y. Slope is 3x plus 2 for the y-intercept. Now look at the inequality. It's a solid line, so I know there's an equal underneath, and they shaded below it, so that's where the y's are less than. Alright, let's continue the same thing, but with a system. Okay, so now there's 2 of them. Okay, there's 2 of them here, so this is a tricky question for a lot of people. So let's just kind of take one line at a time. So I'm going to take this line, okay. I'll just call that line number 1 and this line number 2. And so looking at this one, I'm going to do the same thing I just did. Find the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So for line number 1, the b is 5. Picking a couple of points here. It looks like it's just down 1 to the right 1. Okay, so that's the slope. Now for this one here, I'm going to do the other. I'm going to look for line number 2. do the same thing. The y-intercept here is -1, and the slope, well, I can pick a point here and a point here, is up 1 over 1, up 2 over 1, sorry, up 2. So, okay. So that would be enough if I just wanted to write the lines, but now I need to do the inequality part. So I'm going to kind of set these up here. So line number 1 is y something, the slope is just -1, or I could just put a -x, plus 5, and this bottom one is y something, all right, 2x minus 1. Okay, so I got the y equals mx plus b part. So let's look at some inequalities. So let's look at trying to get the inequality. So looking at this here, line number 1, if you look here, if I was to continue, it looks like I would keep shading all over here. So that would be less than, and it's a solid line because it's lower than the line. So this is line 1. And looking at line number 2, looks like they shaded below it as well, and it's a solid line. Okay. Now they want a point of solution, so that's basically anywhere where it's shaded. Okay. So for example, I could pick this point, which is 2, 0. You know, I could pick this point right here, which is positive 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, positive 4, negative 2. Anything in that shaded region is considered a solution, or part of the solution set. So looking at number 6, this is the same type of question, but this is just equation, so I don't have to worry about the shading part. So all I got to do is find the intercepts and go from there. So I'm going to call this line number 1, get the information right here. So there's my y-intercept 1, 2, 3, and 4. And my slope, let me see if I can find a couple of good points. Let's use this one right here. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 1, 2, which is the same thing as going up and to the right. So really, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, I said. So the slope is -4 over -2. And really, look, I could have just picked that point. So the slope is just 2. Okay. And then line number 2, this has a y-intercept of -1. And looks like I can pick these 2 points right here. So if I go down 1 and to the right 2, okay, so I'll go ahead and work that out. So line number 1 is y equals 2x plus 4, and the other line, line 2, is y equals -1/2 x minus 1. And when it comes to the solution here, there's only one. That's where they cross. So that's the point -2, 0.